Hey guys, got a quick video today on Pyxniel, and hopefully this can help you decide on whether you want to fuse her or maybe save those epics if you think you might get some more value out of them. So quick gameplay video here in a sec, and first we will take a look at the one that I got built up. I did get lucky and pulled a couple of the epics in that Sacred 2x, so got her done a little bit faster than I would have been able to otherwise. But I did go ahead and 60 her and got her Masteries done. But I did not book her. I do not think she is worth books, regardless of whether you pull her and have extra books lying around, which I don't. I don't think she is worth all these books. This is an absolute ton of books here. So we are going to test her today without books, which I think is probably the way most people are going to play her, even if they do have those books lying around, which I don't. So this is the gear that I put on her. Just kind of used some stuff that I already had leveled up here. We got a couple level 12 pieces, and I'm probably not going to level those up. I think without the banner here, this is somewhat reasonable gear. We do have pretty high accuracy there, and the speed is pretty decent. So this is kind of like a mid-game build. It is still pretty good gear though. And then as far as what we chose to put on her, I did go with crit rate gloves here to max out her crit. I don't think you need to do that. You could definitely just make her a lot more tanky and put HP or defense-based gloves on here and just not worry about her damage. Her damage isn't bad. However, once you've got everyone frozen up, they're taking reduced damage anyways, and her multipliers are decent, but she's not going to be your nuker, I don't think. We did go with this HP chest, which is why it's cruel. Again, I'm not going for a nuker build here, but I just had these cruel pieces that were semi-decent, so I threw them on here. We do have HP with some accuracy, crit rate, and some resistance there. Not a bad piece. And then the main reason I have cruel is just because I had these speed boots already leveled up. And we do get a little bit of crit damage and HP off of those. We're going for crit, accuracy, speed. Same thing here. A little bit of attack there for us and a bunch of accuracy on this weapon. And then down here we went with defense on the ring and defense on the amulet. And for the banner, I will probably throw the accuracy banner that I had on her back on here when we take her into the arena. But for now, I think this is a little bit more representative of stats that are reasonable for most people to use if they do pull her and want to use her into some dungeons. So that is what we went with there. We can go over the skills here real quick. This does have a chance of putting out a veil buff on a random ally, not herself. And this is kind of an overlooked skill. I think everyone's sort of focusing on her freeze mechanics down here in the A3 and the passive. However, this increased defense and continuous heal are really nice, and it's a great support move for you, with the added benefit, if anyone is frozen, she will put out weaken and also hit them. But you have to have someone else freeze them first most of the time, because she is going to do this ability first on auto. And then her A3 is the 5 times at random, and each hit has a 30% chance of placing a freeze debuff. And if it hits someone twice, if you've got the wave pared down a little bit, it does go up to 100% chance. So this happens more often when you've already killed a couple people. In general, when I've been seeing her in waves, she's usually freezing about 2 people on average per wave. You're not getting a ton of freezes out, but that is some decent control. You know, it's about like having someone in a stun set. So not bad, even unbooked. And then she's got this really cool passive, which would certainly benefit from books, but she's not going to get them. And then this can actually take freezes away from your allies, put them on her, and then she's got a chance of getting rid of them. So that is her skills. And as far as masteries go, I did not put her in the offense tree. That is an option. You could come down to War Master and get a little bit more damage out of her in the waves and on bosses for sure. But I chose to go in the defense and support trees, which I think is going to be more of her role, especially unbooked. In the arena, maybe you could get away with the offense tree and get a little bit more damage out of her. But we went defense, took some damage mitigation here, a little bit more healing, and then we came down through this, which will give her block debuffs. If she does get frozen up, she'll have block debuffs the next time. And then I did give her a Harvest Despair, which can put a leech out for us whenever she freezes someone. So that's not a bad choice. Everyone else can heal up off that a little bit. And then we went with Cycle of Revenge to give her turn meter whenever your allies get hit by crits. And the support tree, instead of going the traditional accuracy route like this, I actually came down into Exalt and Death here to give her a little bit of healing, but mostly just so I could split here and come down into Lasting Gifts to extend her buffs. And then Cycle of Magic gives her a little bit of chance of reducing a cooldown. Not a huge chance, but then we took these 2 turn meter fill ones when buffs or debuffs expire. Evil Eye is great on anybody that you can get it on in the support tree, and if you have accuracy on them, this does take accuracy. I do like to take that. And then Master Hexer is not doing anything for us. I just took that to get down in the Eagle Eye. Master Hexer cannot extend freeze debuffs. So that's how we went on the Masteries. There are lots of other options here for your tier 6 Mastery. War Master, obviously, if you went in the offense tree. You could even take Bulwark and have her soaking up some extra damage for you. You could build her high resist, so she's resisting all those freezes that get transferred onto her. Take Unshakable for that. And then there's a couple other options there as well. But I think the accuracy is a pretty good route to help you out. So that's how we went on the accuracy, or on the Masteries here. And let's go ahead and take her into a dungeon. I think we will start with the Dragon's Lair first, and then maybe move on over to Ice Golem. So this is the team that I've got running here, and we'll just jump right in and take a look at how this is going to run. So we have War Maiden for our AoE decreased defense. There it is. And then Cold Heart is going to be doing a little bit of damage for us here on the waves, but mostly it's just there for the dragon. And she's got decent gear on, actually pretty good gear on. She's got high crit damage. However, I do have her very weak, and she is probably going to die a number of times. So that is why we brought in a Reliquary Tinder to pick her back up when that does eventually happen. But you can see we've got lots of healing. We had the heal from Pyxniel here, one from Reliquary Tinder, and then the spot heal from Apothecary. So she's back to full health already. But I would not be surprised if she dies on wave 2, 1 or even 2 times. So we will just go ahead and skip through this, maybe get to the dragon and see how that's going. So there on that last freeze, we did actually get 2 off, not too bad. We froze up one of these Hordens, which is pretty useful. But again, it's going to be random, and you're not going to be freezing up the entire waves here, especially not unbooked. So, 1, 2, maybe 3 is probably about the most you can expect out of her. But, we are still gaining all that benefit from her increased defense and the heals. There they are. So, she is offering something for us here, even though we are kind of ignoring that freeze for the most part. But we are making it onto the dragon here, and this is basically just going to be Cold Heart's show. We are going to skip through this and just let Cold Heart do her thing. And there we go. I've moved myself out of the way so you can see a little bit better. We did come in with a time of 3 minutes 43 seconds, so not a speed run, but not too shabby, to be honest. Pyxniel did come in with a ton of healing for us. She actually did quite a bit more than Reliquary Tinder even. And again, offered a lot of protection with that increased defense. We did get some freezes off with her in the waves. She's not doing a ton for us other than the healing and increased defense on the dragon itself. But bulk of our damage came from this Cold Heart here, and we got some off of Reliquary and Apothecary there, mostly due to their War Master procs. Reliquary is also in a Toxic set. You're going to get a ton of Toxic by farming the dragon for your speed and accuracy sets, so you might as well use it somehow. Not a bad idea to put that on some support characters for a little bit of extra damage if you can get away with it. And then War Maiden came in with reasonable damage as well. But again, most of the damage is going to come from the Cold Heart here. You could put anybody in that spot with poisons, your Frozen Banshees, Aethar, anybody who can get a lot of poisons on there will deal with the dragon as well. But this team runs it pretty safely. Didn't actually have Cold Heart fall, which was surprising to me. And that's probably just due to the amount of healing we have here. We have 3 healers and, a lot of support here for her, so didn't actually go down. But I think there's a good chance she would if we ran this a bunch more. But, that team was fairly safe and worked out pretty well. So the other dungeon I think she is going to be pretty good for you in is going to be Ice Golem. That passive could definitely come into play here on the Ice Golem and keep somebody else on the team from getting frozen up. And that would be pretty helpful, as well as the increased defense and continuous heal. You are going to get smacked pretty hard when this guy gets his turn, so that will come in pretty handy for you. We do have more healing here again with Reliquary Tinder and Apothecary. We brought Stagnite in for our decreased defense this time due to Affinity, and he also gives us the slow speed, which is very helpful on the Ice Golem, and then we're going to have Seer to nuke the waves. So this is going to be our team, and we will see how this runs through. Should be pretty safe. I think we've got plenty of support, and then we just got our one main damage dealer here in Seer. You don't need to bring a seer, but she definitely speeds up these waves a ton. An added benefit when you're using her with seer is these 2 buffs that she is getting. We don't have a ton of other buffs coming from other people on this team, so she is going to be one of our main sources of buffs for seer to eat. So that's something else you could use her for. Alright, we are on to the Ice Golem itself, and maybe we can see if we ever see that passive work here. Not sure if I've seen it proc or not, or maybe I'm just missing it, but we'll see if we can spot it here when he does his Frozen Vengeance or Frigid Vengeance, whatever it is. We did get some freezes off there with her, and then she did steal a freeze there. We saw the boost turn meter, so that is because she stole a freeze from somebody else that would have gotten frozen here, put it on herself, and then she gets that boost turn meter when that happens. And it looks like she actually stripped it off herself as well, so pretty cool. So it did actually work there, even without the books. And she's working out pretty well for us. We're getting those extra buffs for seer to eat. We've got a bunch of buffs here for seer to eat, and she just did a big hit. So, you know, having her as opposed to a Mausoleum Mage, you know, could be an option. Mausoleum Mage is definitely the preferred kind of go-to choice when people are building out seer teams. But, you know, if she does bring 2 buffs for her to eat, not a bad option. Alright, here we are at the end screen, and I did see her passive work for us once. I don't believe it worked every single time, which is to be expected, unbooked. But I'm not sure who she unfroze, but she did unfreeze somebody for us when the Ice Golem froze everybody up. So, pretty useful here. She could definitely help out on Ice Golem even unbooked. I was actually pretty impressed at how safe the run seemed with her on there. You know, we don't have a ton of other people given buffs here for seer to eat. We have a increased speed from Apothecary and continuous heal from Reliquary Tender there. So the other 2 were coming from her, and we still got a pretty decent time there, even without, you know, a Mausoleum Mage or somebody else that's throwing up a ton of buffs for us. So definitely has some value on Ice Golem, can help you out there. And I think that this might be one of her better spots. Here in Dragon, for sure. On Fire Knight, I don't think she's going to offer a whole lot, unless you can get her to maybe use that A3 when the Fire Knight shield is up. That is a 5 hitter, so if you could somehow tune your team to time that perfectly so that went up, that would be useful. She has bad affinity, which isn't the end of the world, but the chances of that happening often are pretty slim, so I'm not even going to run her in Fire Knight. I don't think that's going to be her spot. She could still help you there with, again, the continuous heals and increased defense, but I think you've probably got better options for Fire Knight. All the keeps and everything else she's going to be fine in. She's not going to be your campaign farmer, and I don't really see her offering a whole lot in Spider. Maybe you could get away with her for a little bit of healing, but I think, again, there are probably better options for Spider. So Ice Golem and Dragon are going to be her spots. And then, of course, Arena. She could be fun in Arena, but I think you're definitely going to want to pair her with somebody else that is doing the bulk of the freezing. So we are going to put her accuracy banner back on, just so she has a little bit more accuracy. This one has a bunch of speed too. So we're going to throw that on, get her speed up, get her accuracy pretty high there. And we'll take her into Arena and pair her with a Gurgo. Gurgo is a monster at freezing people, and he should be pretty good here. So this looks like a non-bot team. Pretty low power though. Maybe we can test it out on this regardless. So we will throw Gurgo in there. And then I think to fully capitalize on her skill set here, since she is putting increased defense up for our team, we're going to go with a defense-based nuker. Could use anyone that is defense-based with AoE. I've got Ignatius here. That would be a good option. We might go with him. Let's see if we got another epic. And this is already kind of a stacked team, so I'm not sure if there's a whole lot of value in going with an epic because we're already using 3 legendaries here. So we'll just go with Ignatius just because I know that he'll work. So we'll just see how this runs on auto. I believe she does default to her A2 first. So Gurgo should be faster. There we go. He froze everyone up. He goes in for a hit. And then when they're frozen, she will then hit everybody who has a freeze already on them. So that's what she just did there. And then we should be just about done here. So pretty good damage from Ignatius there. Not a ton of damage from her A2. Run it one more time. Yeah, it looks like we're mostly fighting bot teams here. He's going to be bad affinity for these, so maybe we'll skip that one and just go with this. So we're on 1x speed, so we can see it a little bit better. There's the freeze from Gurgo. He goes in for a hit, kills off the Seeker. She buffs and then hits everyone once. So 6,000. And then our defense-based nuker comes in for the actual damage at the end there. And then her A1 hits for about 5,500, so nothing too crazy there. But a team like this could certainly work for you. You could get some value out of her in the arena if you've got someone else that can freeze. Another option for that in an epic would be Lair. Lair is a pretty good option for that. She doesn't have a 100% chance to freeze, but AoE 100% chance to freeze is pretty tough to find on a non-legendary. So where is Lair? There she is. So let's try her, and then let's try to find a defense-based nuker. You know what? You know who's a defense-based nuker? Shield Guard. There he is. So that's going to be our team. This should be fun. I think this is looking kind of like a bot team as well, so we shouldn't have any problems here. But we're gonna increase speed, and then we will do her A2, which is what she would do on auto. Defense up, continuous heals. Lair is going to come in for her AoE freeze. She is booked, so this is actually a 75% chance to freeze. See if we can get some off. We got 3 off, very nice. And then we will go in for the Shield Guard nuke. And that worked pretty well. Go ahead and turn it back up, auto this, and done. So let's try that again. Maybe we can find a non-bot team. We could try it on this team. This is looking a little bit more rough, but we do have better affinities than the last team we were trying there. So speed up, A2 with Pyxniel. Go for the freezes. Got them across the board that time, very nice. Let's see, one problem here is that when they're under freeze, they will take reduced damage, and we don't have a decreased defense or weaken on these guys, so they're going to take pretty reduced damage, but we'll see what Shield Guard could do here regardless. Not bad. Do love a Shield Guard. Go with the AoE on our Arbiter there. Give her a smack, and then it's just a matter of cleaning up this Frank. So this is going to be all 5 hits onto the Frank, so we should get a 100% chance of landing this freeze. And he resisted. So I don't know if that was bad luck or if he's just got lots of resist, because she is about 350 resist now, I think, something like that. And there we go. So cleaned that up. So to wrap it up, I do not think she is a bad champion. I think she is pretty decent. Is she a fantastic top tier legendary? No, definitely not. We've had much better Christmas legendary fusions in the past. However, I do think she is good if you can pick her up and you don't need the epics, then I would go ahead and do it. They may buff her into something crazy in the future for sure, never know. But you know, I do think she is relatively decent and usable in a couple areas of the game. She's certainly not horrible in arena, and Ice Golem, she can probably help you out, and not bad in Dragon either. Is she top tier? No. Would the epics that you have to use to fuse her maybe help you more in Faction Wars if you are mid-game? Probably. There are some great choices there in the epics. That dwarf is amazing, and the other 3 aren't bad either. So they might actually end up helping your account more if you are trying to get through Faction Wars. They're all 3 probably usable in Faction Wars. In High Elves, you've already got so many great options to get Faction Wars done. I don't think that she's going to necessarily, be a huge game changer there for you. You can use Arbiter, you can use Reliquary Tender, we saw her, the Royal Guards, Tyrell. There's all kinds of great options for High Elves, whereas some of the other factions are a little bit more difficult, especially Dwarves, and he looks really good. So I would say fuse her if you can, and you don't need the epics, but if you do think the epics are going to be more helpful for you for Faction Wars, I would probably go for them, to be honest. I don't regret fusing her. I will not be booking her though, and she's just going to stay like this. And even unbooked, I think she is still perfectly usable. So that is going to be Pyxniel. Hopefully you enjoyed, and if this was helpful, please leave me a like and a subscribe if you would, and have a great one.